I welcome you all in the next video tutorial of the chromatography. And in this video tutorial, we are going to see an important concept, that is the HPLC, high performance or high pressure liquid chromatography. So let's start. So as it is a chromatography, HPLC is a chromatography, so it means chromatography. So yes, it is used for the identity, for quality, for purity, for purification, or even for the isolation. And yes, it is a sophisticated instrument, so it is used both for qualitative and quantitative analysis. It is widely used in synthetic chemistry as well as for the natural product chemistry. So yes, it is a very important chromatographic approach. So let's see. So it is known as a high pressure, and it is analytical chemistry technique used to separate, identify and quantify. So it is used for the quantitative analysis also of each component present in a mixture. So as the name indicates, high pressure, so it requires use of a pump. So it relies on the pump to pass a pressurized liquid solvent. It means your solvent, your mobile phase is a liquid, okay, and that will containing mixture through a column. So it has a column, and column is the place where the separation will take place, and column is filled with the adsorbent material. So each component is a sample. They interacts with the stationary phase or with the mobile phase, which cause the different flow rates for different components. And the compounds that are present in the mixture, they move at the different speed depending upon their affinity either towards stationary phase or towards mobile phase, and that leads to their separation. So this is the basic principle involved in HPLC. And always remember one thing, HPLC works on both principles. Sometimes it works on the adsorption, and sometimes, or you can say most of the time, it works on the principle partition. And it will all depend upon the type of stationary phase you are using. Because in HPLC, we are using either solid stationary phase or a liquid stationary phase. So if we are using a solid stationary phase, then the principle in the HPLC, it becomes adsorption. And sometimes we are using the liquid stationary phase, and that case the principle will be partition. So don't worry, you will find different aspect in different books. Maybe you are reading some book and you will find, oh sir, it is written adsorption. So that is right. And if some student found in some books that sir, it is right partition, it is written HPLC is a partition chromatography, you are also right. Okay, it all depend upon your stationary phase. Say this, if the stationary phase is solid, okay, HPLC solid, then the components are separated according to their adsorption coefficient. Whereas if the stationary phase is liquid, HPL, liquid chromatography, that is the liquid stationary phase, then the components separated according to their partition coefficient. So it works on the principle of both. So don't be confused in this type of questions. So I think it is clear. So this is about the HPLC. So just this is another question, why it is known as liquid chromatography. Yes, of course, say this, it is known as liquid chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography or high pressure liquid chromatography. Why? Because the mobile phase is liquid, okay, and the stationary phase we are using both solid, or you can also use the liquid. I think this is clear. So see you in the next video of the HPLC. I hope you all are fine and doing well. So in this video tutorial, we are going to cover an important chromatographic technique, that is the HPLC. And particularly for this topic, I am directly using the reference of Dr. Tom Sarad. So as you can see, this is a 103 pages of webinar. These are the contents from a webinar. He recently presented a webinar, and he is basically a chemistry specialist that deals with the HPLC or different type of liquid chromatographic approaches or techniques. And he is graduate from University of Massachusetts, and he is having more than 13 years of experience in dealing with this chromatographic approach. And here you can see Waters. So there is a website that is there is a basically organization that is very famous in dealing with providing the HPLC instruments. And you are really going to surprised to hear about this. In our college also we have a HPLC instrument, and that too from this company, that is from the Waters. So this brand is very famous in HPLC. Just see the website of Water. I want to show you. So this is the website waters.com. You can see this waters.com, this organization, this company basically deals with various equipments that is related to the liquid chromatography. So this is a very renowned person. That's why I have found these notes very fruitful, and we are going to cover this entire topic from this webinar only, from this presentation. So let's start. First of all, just see the overview. So HPLC is a type of liquid chromatography, and I hope you remember all the techniques. So I request you to watch the previous videos. Yes, we have covered TLC. So tell me, what is the basic principle of TLC? Yes, adsorption. HPTLC, basic principle, adsorption. Column chromatography, basic principle, adsorption. Okay, but paper chromatography, basic principle is partition. And in case of HPLC also, the basic principle involved for the separation is partition. So let's see about the liquid chromatography, because the HPLC is a type of liquid chromatography. So liquid chromatography is nothing but the science of separating the chemical compounds that are present in a mixture or in a sample. Yes, with the help of chromatography we can identify and also quantitate. Okay, we can do qualitative as well as the quantitative analysis with using HPLC also. Okay, just see the type of liquid chromatography, that is TLC, paper, HPLC, UPLC, that is ultra pressure. These are the newer techniques. Okay, flash chromatography, we have covered this in the column chromatography part. So just recall, this is a paper chromatograph. Okay, this is the paper chromatography, this is the TLC. So I hope you have covered this point, that is a thin layer chromatography. Okay, yes, tell me which type of paper chromatography it is. Radial, very good. Yes, again you all are right, this is the column chromatography. Okay, we have different type of columns, and the column is also used in the HPLC. We will see how this column, especially special column, is used in the HPLC also. So let's see. So HPLC is a column chromatography technique in which a column is packed with the stationary phase. Okay, always remember one thing, for chromatography you need two important things, stationary phase and mobile phase. So what is the stationary phase in the HPLC? That is a sorbent, or you can say an adsorbent, which is packed inside the column. And what is the mobile phase? That is a liquid, okay, that is passed through the packed column. So let's recall the knowledge of the column chromatography very fast. Just see this. Suppose I'm drawing a rough diagram of the column. Suppose this is your column. Suppose, okay. So this is sintered column. So you have to put your stationary phase at this point. This point is filled with your adsorbent, or you can say the stationary phase. So above this you will put a sand layer, okay, if you desired, and this is your sample. I will mark with a different color. So this is your sample, suppose, and above sample, yes, your mobile phase is there. So this is the basic setup of the column chromatography. So let's see what happened. So mobile phase, it just passes through, or you can say this process is known as the elution. It passes through the, what happened? It passes through your sample and then towards your stationary phase. It passes out. See, in this case, the liquid mobile phase is passed through the packed column. Okay, so in case of HPLC also, a liquid mobile phase is passed through the packed column. And of course, the dissolved sample and the sample that is in the liquid state is injected into the flow path of the mobile phase. Okay, see this. So let me type in the Google images, that is your HPLC instrument. Just see what happened. Okay, so it means HPLC is a sophisticated instrument like HPTLC. It is an automatic computer system, and these are the particular type of part in the HPLC. So let's see what happened. So look at this. This is another important photograph of HPLC instrument. So you can see solvent is there, pump, injector, column, detector. Means this is an sophisticated instrument, and that is fully automatic instrument. Okay. So again, see this: solvent, pump, injector, column, and detector. Here it is. Column means separation will take place inside this part, that is the column. And above column, yes, there should be mobile phase. Yes, solvent means mobile phase is there. And here injector means sample injector. You have to put your sample here. And ultimately in the last, detector part is there, and you will see the separation. Yes, again a very simple technique. Again, just see this. This is your column. Above column, yes, we will put our sample. In case of this, we have automatic system, and we will inject a liquid sample. And above this, you can say this is a mobile phase or solvent. And this is a pump is used. That's why this method is known as high performance or high pressure. So yes, we will use a pressure. For pressure, we will use a pump. Okay. And in the last, we have detector. Above this, we have column. The separation will take place in the column part, and we will see how this separation takes place. So let's start. So let's recall again. A column is packed with the stationary phase. Yes. A liquid mobile phase is packed. That is, liquid mobile phase is basically passed through the packed column. Okay. And the dissolved sample is injected into the flow path of the mobile phase. Yes. The sample band separates into the individual analytes based upon this partition coefficient. Based upon the partition coefficient. And we will see this, how this is possible in detail. Unless analytes bands are detected, we have detector, and the chromatogram is generated, and we will see different peaks. And I will definitely going to tell you how this we will interpret these peaks in of HPLC also. Say this instrumentation of HPLC. So yes, here we have a solvent reservoir. Okay. Yes, we have a pump that will pass because it is high pressure, and we will also see how much pressure is required for HPLC. Okay, so this is pump. Pump will take all the solvent. Yes, the sample is here. The sample means the mixture that you have to analyze, that you have to separate, that you have to analyze, identify it, or also go for the isolation part. So here we will inject your sample with the help of sample injector. This is the automatic system. Next, very important part, column, where the separation will actually take place. And in this case, we will use special type of column, not the glass column that I have showed you in the video. Okay, after the separation, yes, detection should be there. So we will use different type of detector, particularly for the HPLC purpose. And yes, the chromatogram will appear in the form of different peaks. We will interpret these peaks, and final results were calculated. And here, this separation for the waste purpose, there is another place for a particular waste. So this is the whole instrumentation setup of the HPLC. Please see again, solvent, reservoir, that is your mobile phase, pump is there because this is high pressure or high performance HPLC. Okay, then the sample is mixture, very important part, HPLC column where you will pack your material. Here adsorbent, and we will use special type of adsorbent. We will not use silica gel G. There is a special type of column stationary phase like C8 or C18 bonded silica, and we will use the reverse phase silica. That is the detector and the chromatogram. So see you in the part 2 video. These are the references I have used. And finally, I acknowledge all the sources that I am using to prepare this video. I welcome you all in the part 2 video of the HPLC. So in this video tutorial, we are going to cover an important instrumentation of HPLC. So I request you, please go by video number 1 of the HPLC, then watch this video. Only then you will be able to understand the entire concept of HPLC, that is high performance liquid chromatography, or we can say high pressure liquid chromatography. So see again, this is the basic instrument that we have already covered in the previous slide. Let's recall a bit. So this is the, as it is the name indicates, it is a high pressure. So you can see we will use for pressure, we will use a pump, or you can say solvent delivery system. And for chromatography, we need majorly two things, stationary phase and the mobile phase. Yes, we will, this is a mobile phase, or you can say solvent reservoir. So with the help of pump, it will just in this way, it will flow. And here is the sample, and in chromatography, you know, we will use a mixture that is to be analyzed, that is to be separated, or that is to be isolated. Sample containing a mixture, it is passed through the auto sampler, because this is a sophisticated automatic system. So again, this is your stationary phase that is packed in the HPLC column. This is a column specially meant for the HPLC, and here is your stationary phase. And this is a place where the actual separation take place, because when the mobile phase go inside this way, and this is your sample will go inside the column, and here is the most critical step, that is the separation take place. And particularly in this case, the basic principle is partition, and we will see how. Then after separation, yes, we have to detect. There are specialized detectors used in the HPLC, and then the chromatogram is finally obtained. And the waste material, there is a special place for the collection of the waste also. So let's start with the stationary phase. So we are talking about the HPLC. So this is a special type of column, that is the HPLC column, and we will pack our stationary phase here. And as we have discussed, HPLC is also of two types, depending upon your stationary phase and mobile phase polarity. When the stationary phase is polar, whereas the mobile phase is non-polar, then it is a normal phase HPLC. And when the stationary phase is non-polar and the mobile phase become polar, it is a reverse phase HPLC. So the basic principle involved also changes. So always remember this thing. So there is a normal phase and reverse phase HPLC. So again see, in the normal phase HPLC, the stationary phase is polar and the mobile phase is non-polar. Whereas in the reverse phase, it is reversed. The stationary phase is non-polar and the mobile phase is polar. So just read this. In case of normal phase TLC, we can say in the normal phase HPLC, in a mixture of components to be separated, those analytes which are having more polar and should be retained by the stationary phase, and those analytes are less polar. Therefore, the least polar components will elute first. See, this is I have drawn for you. That is, suppose this is your column of HPLC, and when we talk about the normal phase HPLC, what does it mean? It means stationary phase is polar and mobile phase is non-polar. And your sample that you have to separate, or you can identify, that is a mixture of these compounds, polar or non-polar. So if the compounds present in the mixture have higher affinity towards the stationary phase, what will happen? They will elute later. Okay, and the compounds which are present in the mixture have greater affinity towards mobile phase, they will elute first. Okay, and they will be of non-polar type. See this again. In a mixture of the component to be separated, those compounds which have more polar will be retained by the polar stationary phase. Okay. Therefore, the least polar components will elute first, because they have high affinity towards the mobile phase, and nature of the mobile phase is to move. So they will elute with the mobile phase. And normal HPLC, the mobile phase is non-polar. It means the non-polar compounds will elute first in case of normal phase HPLC. See the reverse phase now. So this is a reverse phase HPLC, and we know in reverse phase stationary phase is non-polar, whereas the mobile phase become polar. So tell me which compound will elute first? Which compound will elute first? Tell me. Here the mobile phase is polar, that means the polar compounds will elute first, the polar ones. Why? Because the nature of mobile phase is polar. And which compound will elute later? The non-polar one, because now they have higher affinity towards the stationary phase. And in reverse phase chromatography, we generally use the reverse phase. We generally, in case of HPLC, we generally follow the reverse phase, and the reverse phase silica is the carbon 8 bonded or carbon 18 bonded silica, is a special type of silica gel that is used in the reverse phase HPLC. I welcome you all in the part 3 video of the HPLC series. In this video tutorial, we are going to cover the solvent reservoir system, the degasser, the solvent delivery system, as well as the injector system of the HPLC. So the solvent delivery system, as we know, the solvent or the solvent reservoir, or you can say the mobile phase, they have to pass through at a high pressure. And how much pressure we have to maintain? That is 1000 to approximate 3000. We will also increase, sometimes we will see 5000 psi is also there. Okay. And when we talk about the combination or the constitution of the mobile phase, we have completed the isocratic and the gradient elution part. In the isocratic, throughout the mobile phase is same, and the gradient elution, we have to increase the polarity, you have to change the polarity of the mobile or the solvent system. So what happens when solvents are pumped under high pressure? There are sometimes gas bubble appears. So we have to perform the process of degassing. So degassing of the solvent is very critical step, and it is simply done by using different filtration techniques like vacuum filtration or the ultrasonication. Okay, and in normal phase chromatography we generally use these are the non-polar mobile phases like hexane, yeah, isooctane, etc. Whereas in reverse phase we use the more polar mobile phases like water, methanol, acetonitrile. So generally this one is the most preferred one, that is a reverse phase based on the principle of partition. So let's see the most important component, the solvent delivery system or the pumps that is used in the HPLC instrument. So let's start. So basically there are different type of liquid chromatography pumps like pneumatic pumps, motor driven syringe type pumps, or reciprocating pumps. These are very important. So just see the meaning of reciprocating pump. It is sometimes known as the positive displacement pump that works on the principle of movement of piston in forward and backward direction. So very simple. Let's see it. So in case of reciprocating pump, three important components are used. First is the cylinder. Suppose this is a cylinder, and here is the piston rod. And apart from piston rod, yes, we need a piston. So in this part constitute about the piston. This is a piston rod, and this is the cylinder. So just see the clear parts of the reciprocating pump. So suppose this is the, again the main parts are piston. Okay, this one is piston. This is the piston rod. Okay, you will move it this way, and this is the intake pipe, and this is the discharge pipe. So let's see. There are two valves, inlet valve or outlet, or you can say outtake valve. What happens with the help of crank? You will rotate it. First of all 90 degree, then 180 degree, then 360 degree. And the water that is present here, or you can say the solvent reservoir, the mobile phase in case of HPLC, it will go, when it will open the first valve, it will go here. Okay, then it will go in this place, and finally up to the discharge valve. See, first position, when it rotates at 90 degree, the water will go in this point. Again at 180 degree Celsius, the water will again at this location, and this is the piston movement. And finally when it is rotated 360 degree, the water will go inside the discharge tube. Please see this diagram. So here it is. This is the diagram of the reciprocating pumps. Now next is the displacement or screw driven syringe pumps. These are also used in the HPLC process. So let's talk about different type of injectors. So generally we use the sample valve injector or the syringe type of injectors are very famous in case of HPLC. So when we talk about the syringe type detectors, injectors basically, then there is a part of the Renodyne. So this is basically attached to your HPLC instrument, and you will put your sample in this syringe and you will inject here. Please see this Renodyne model. So this is your Renodyne. Then you have direct injection to the auto sampler is there also. Please watch this video for more clarity. You will put a sample in your syringe, then it was again injected into the Renodyne. Okay, like in this way. This is a simple sample injection method. So these are the references I have used. I acknowledge YouTube sources also that I have used to prepare this video. I respectfully acknowledge all the sources I have used to prepare this video. See you in the next lecture. I welcome you all in the next part of the HPLC video. So far we have covered the solvent reservoir system and the degasser. This is solvent delivery system in which we use different type of pumps and injector. We have also completed different type of injectors. Now we are going to cover the column, and this oven is also there. So this is the typical diagram of the HPLC column. So these type of columns are used in which we have to put our stationary phase. So the length, generally they are straight, that is 15 to 150 centimeter in length and 2 to 3 mm in diameter. The packing material is generally silica gel of different grade, alumina and silicate also. Just a different part of column, these are the entrance is there, and again aluminum jacket is provided. This is the main part, that is of the plastic coated, okay, and this is the exit. And here this is the place of separation. This is the most important part. So usually solid support are given, that is 10 micron to 3 micron silica or polymeric particles. And we use different type of column for analytical purpose. There are micro columns are also there for guard column, and column packing is done with this silica, alumina, and there are different type of adsorbents. So always remember this thing: in the normal phase we have to add the polar material, and the reverse phase HPLC we have to add the non-polar materials. See, these are the Google images of the HPLC column. See this C18 column, we will add a reverse phase silica here. These are the different type of HPLC columns. So let's talk about detectors now. There are different type of detectors used in HPLC like UV, then fluorescent detector, electrochemical, and the mass spectrometric. So these are different type of detector that are commercially available, that are IR detector, UV detector, photodiode array detector, then fluorescent detector, refractive index detector. These are very common. So these are different type of detectors like RI detector, refractive index. Particularly in our syllabus, that is in pharmacognosy and phytochemistry, we don't have to go much into detail about this syllabus. But for the 7th semester, they have to go in the detail about these detector also, because question might ask about the particularly these type of detectors. That this is a UV detector. Again, I will do this detector in the UV spectroscopy because the basic principle is same, and the fluorescent detector is also used. This is electrochemical detectors. Okay, so this is based upon the amphobatic response. So you have to do the entire principle of these detectors also. Then evaporative light scattering detectors are also used. These are the very common photodiode array detector and IR detector, that is the infrared. So I will also cover this in the spectroscopy part. So next is the recorders and integrators. So there are different type of recorders used to record the responses obtained from the detector. See this, after detector we have a recorder for the proper data collection, and of course we will measure the retention time of all the peaks found from the recording. Yes, there are several advantages of HPLC. This is quite important for our syllabus, especially for pharmacognosy. It is rapid, because it is high performance, high precision, very important technique, that is automatic sampler is used. Quantitative as well as qualitative estimation has been determined. This is the comparison of TLC and HPLC. So it has application in pharmaceutical industry for the tabular dissolution studies of different pharmaceutical doses, shelf-life determination of different pharmaceutical products, identification of different type of compounds including the natural products also, pharmaceutical quality control. Then in the environmental sciences, it is used in reduction of phenols in drinking water. It is widely used in identification of different type of drugs like diphenhydramine in different sediment samples. So it is used in the biomonitoring of air pollution also. In forensic science, in criminology, it is widely used to detect various type of identification of steroids in serum, urine, sweat and hair, and also used for the determination of cocaine in different metabolites. So clinical applications include analysis of antibiotics, detection of the endogenous neuropeptides brain and extracellular fluids. It is also used in the food industry, like it will ensure the soft drink consistency and quality. We will analyze the sugar analysis in different fruit juices also. In the agriculture crops, we will analyze the trace material, or you can say the micronutrient analysis. Yes, it is used for the quantitative purpose as well as the preparation of the pure compounds or the purification purpose. So this is very important. It has a chemical uses, chemical applications, environmental, pharmaceutical, clinical, soft drink. You can say the in the confectionery industry also, and of course in the biosciences. Yes, it has a very fast procedure, high resolution. Okay, this is important. Sensitivity, accuracy, automation. These are the main advantages of HPLC. Yes, it is very costly, and the complexity. One must acquire full knowledge about doing the HPLC procedure. So it's time to acknowledge. So I acknowledge this PPT prepared by Komani Vidya Chaudhary, that is I'm from, that is from the Wrangle Pharmacy College. So I acknowledge his PPT because I've used this PPT for our study material. So I acknowledge this PPT. And these are the other sources that I have used to prepare this video. So again, thank you for your patience and listening. We will do the next part in the next video. I welcome you all in the next chromatographic technique, that is the HPLC, from the very famous book written by author Dr. G.R. Chitwal. So we have already covered this topic in the previous video, so I request you to watch all the previous video related to HPLC. And in this video tutorial, we are going to see the important concept of HPLC as per the book, that is the Instrumental Method of Analysis by Dr. G.R. Chitwal. So let's see. So just see the introduction part. On the early problems with liquid chromatography with flow rate, and we know, because we have covered the column chromatography, the earlier column chromatography is the gravity column chromatography. So yes, the solution is very slow rate, and the results are, again, it will take several days or several months to obtain particular results. So earlier methods use gravity feed, okay, and it was not uncommon for analysis to take several days to complete, and this obviously led to the delay in the process of elution and will cause excessive time, and also the affect the resolution of the efficiency of the column. So this led to the development of a technique that will gives us better results in a lesser time. Okay, so that is the advent of the HPLC starts, and because in this we have already covered this, we have applied the systematic pressure the column, forcing the mobile phase to move at the higher rate. Okay, and the pressure is using a pumping system, and we have also covered there are different type of pump are also used in the HPLC. This is the basic instrument setup as per this book, that is the HPLC schematic diagram. So we know what is the main important component. We need to have a stationary phase, we need to have a mobile phase, and there is a need to have a special injector for the introduction of the sample. So let's see. So first of all, let's find, this is the HPLC pump. So it means this pump is connected with the mobile phase, or you can say element reservoir, and it is through the filter, it will go inside the pump. Okay, and here it is the injection port. This is the injection port, and this is the column. This is the place where the actual separation will take place. Okay, and this again detector recorder. So this is very simple diagram. Okay, I hope this is clear. Again, you can see high pressure pump will take the reservoir, or you can say the mobile phase, through the filter, and again here is the injection port where we will apply the sample, and again the mobile phase along with your sample, that is a mixture, it passes through the column. Column is a place where the actual separation will take place, and here again detector and recorder is there. So just see, in the HPLC we have generally used stainless steel column that are different size, and that can withstand pressure, because in this we have to apply the pressure, and that can withstand pressure up to, look at this, 8000 psi, and they mostly of this rate about 20 to 50 centimeter length, whereas 1 to 4 mm in diameter. Next is the column packing. So in this, for adsorption chromatography, actually we have covered this point. HPLCs, again, it works on the two principles. First is the normal phase HPLC, and second is the reverse phase HPLC. So for the adsorption chromatography, we use different type of adsorbents like silica alumina, okay, which are available as a microporous forms with a range of different particle sizes. Whereas in case of liquid-liquid partition system, the stationary phase may be coated on an inert spot. So this is about the principle of partition, when this is the principle of adsorption is used in the HPLC. So HPLC include both the principle adsorption as well as the partition. And in partition, the stationary phase may be coated on the inert spot. So these are the different type of porous material used for HPLC like silica, alumina, or different type of SPODS. This is very commonly used reverse phase, stationary phase. That is the octadecyl silane bonded silica. Okay, ODS. Remember, ODS is very much used in the reverse phase HPLC. So again, what about the mobile phase? Again, two type of solutions will be there: isocratic separation and the grading elution. So isocratic separation may be made with a single solvent, or you can say two or more solvent in a fixed proportion. The proportion will not change throughout the process or throughout the elution. Whereas the gradient elution, the developing solvent continuously changed. Okay. Next is a pumping system. So we have covered this point. There are different type of pumping system, and here is the limit is given 5000 psi. Is the pressure is maintained. We use different type of pumps like constant pressure pumps, okay, and constant displacement pumps are also there, like reciprocating pump. We have covered this in the previous videos. So detector system, we have used different type of detector like UV, that is ultraviolet visible spectrophotometer, a fluorimeter, RI detector, that is very common, refractive index, and an electrochemical detector is also used in the HPLC. So let's talk about application. The partition chromatography has significant or a powerful tool for separation of different type of chemical constituents that are present in the natural compounds. So it is widely used in the isolation and the purification of the natural compounds, as well as amino acids, or you can say the aliphatic alcohol, etc., for separation of sugar derivatives. So HPLC has a wide range of application. We have covered the application in the previous videos also. So do go by or watch the previous video and then watch this video. So this is the HPLC as per this book, that is Dr. G.R. Chitwal. I request you to again read this book also, that is Dr. G.R. Chitwal, Instrumental Method of Analysis. Okay, see you in the next video. Thank you for your patience and listening. In the last, I acknowledge Dr. G.R. Chitwal for providing us these valuable notes. I really appreciate his work, and we are all very grateful to his contribution. I welcome you all in the next video tutorial of the HPLC series. And in this video tutorial, we are going to see an important concept in HPLC, that is the peaks, the interpretation. And in HPLC, there are different type of peaks are produced, like in this way. You can see this type of chromatogram are produced like peaks. Okay, these type of chromatograms are produced in HPLC. What does this peak mean? How these peaks are produced? So let's see. So let's see how the chromatographic band becomes a peak. Okay, so suppose this is a column. This is the column. This is the place where active separation will take place, and we know column. In column, there is a stationary phase here and the mobile phase, and this is suppose your sample. That is to be separation in the column. So each specific analyte band is made up of many analyte molecules. So what does it means? It means the sample present in a mixture constitute of number of compounds. It means the sample is a mixture. Mixture of what? Mixture of number of molecules, number of compounds. That is to be identified, or yet that is to be separated by using HPLC, suppose. And the center of the band contains the highest concentration of analyte molecules. We assume that this center of the band contains the highest concentration of the molecules or the analyte within the molecules, while the leading and the trailing edges, okay, leading and the trailing edges of the band are decreasingly less concentrated as they interface with the mobile phase. Okay, and the latest, these are the basically arriving analyte molecules, and they are the few, or you can say the earliest arriving molecules. These are the eluted first and they will elute later. What does it mean? That means to say that there is a band, and band is formed by different type of molecules that is to be separated from a particular mixture. Okay, and it says that the most of the molecules are concentrated in the center part or center of the band. And we know after passing through the column, detector is there. Just see this, after column, detector is there. So as the bands or as the compounds leave the column, they immediately subject it to the detector. And what detector do? The detector sees each separated compound band and it will send a signal to the recorder. Just see. Just see here, detector has the ability to sense the particular compound and sends a corresponding signal, a particular compound and a particular signal to one compound for one signal. Electrical signal to the computer data, and where it is recorded as a peak. So in this way peaks are produced. So peaks are nothing but these are the signal produced by the after the detector produced in the recorder, and these are the basically the molecules that are to be separated, or you can say that has to be identified. Just see this again. So the HPLC gives two type of data, chromatogram and the spectrum. The chromatogram is a graph that monitors the signal in the detector over a particular time. And as the chemicals are detected by the instrument, the signal increases and the chromatogram displays at the peak. So peaks are produced. And remember, this is important. Okay, each peak in chromatogram indicates the presence of a particular chemical in the sample. And each peak is always labeled with a retention time, and we know retention time is what is retention time, and I hope you all know about the retention time. The time will take retention time, retaining time of what? Retaining time of the molecules that are present in a particular mixture, how much they will retain in a particular column. Okay, the retention time is the time that indicates how long it will take a compound to come out of the HPLC column. This is the retention time. See, when you first inject your sample, then the first small peaks are appeared in the chromatogram around 2 to 3 minutes, and they are probably ignorable, because suppose these are the suppose peaks are produced, and the larger peaks, they represent the particular chemical in a particular sample. Suppose these are the, suppose this is example of a chromatogram. Okay, and there are 5 peaks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are represented by their retention time. So the peak, for example, that is labeled 9.94 minutes. It is a retention time that is 9.994 minutes. It means this is a particular compound, that is methyl naphthalene, for example. And the peak, that is 13.468, it represents another compound, that is phenanthrene. Okay. You see again, the chromatogram that we obtained in HPLC is a two-dimensional plot. And we have different axes, x-axis and y-axis, and we have retention time and the detector response. Always remember this thing, each peak represents a compound present in the sample, and the retention time is the time interval between the sample injection and the maximum of the peak. And lastly, the matching of this retention time with the reference material and the sample, that is the component peak, confirms about the identity of the unknown sample. So we will compare this retention time. So with the help of retention time, we can have an idea of the identity of the unknown sample. So I hope this is clear. This is about the peak that is produced in the HPLC. And there is another thing, that is some spectra is produced, because we have covered that there are UV type of detector. So this is a UV spectra of the methyl naphthalene compound that is from the HPLC system. So just say this, yes, integrated HPLC plus UV means chromatography plus spectroscopy methods are combination use. Okay, and this is the UV spectra. Now please tell me, when is the retention time is longer? What does it means? It means the compound present in the mixture will take more time, means they have more affinity towards stationary phase. Yes. Do you see this? Again, retention time, this is the retention time, TR represented by TR, and T naught is a non-retention time. There is another concept in HPLC, that is HTP. That is the height equivalent of a theoretical plate. So let's see what is this theoretical plate is meaning. So it is an hypothetical, you can say imaginary concept, and it is known as the unit of a column. So it is the imaginary or hypothetical unit of a column, where the distribution of the column we know the distribution of the solute, okay, in which sample is present between the stationary phase and mobile phase has attained an equilibrium. Just suppose this is your column, okay, and we know we have a stationary phase is there, we know with mobile phase is there, and we have a solute. So distribution of solute between the stationary phase and the mobile phase has attained an equilibrium condition, and it is also known as the functional unit of a column. And the height of one theoretical plate is referred to as a HETP. So HETP is nothing but it is the height of one theoretical plate, and this is important. One, suppose HETP is less, what does it mean? It means that column is more efficient, okay, and if HETP is more, mean column is less efficient, and it is given by equation Van Demeter equation. Just see again, the smaller the plate height, the higher the number of plate and the greater the chromatographic resolution. So I hope now you have a brief idea about the chromatogram of the HPLC. So these are the reference I have used. So these are the references I have used, and I acknowledge all the sources to make this presentation, to make this video tutorial better. That's why I have used different type of resources, and these are intended only for the education purpose. So do not share the content. I acknowledge all the sources I have used. Thank you for your patience in listening, and see you in the next video.